Well, it says I'm live. Let me center myself up here a little bit. Get out of there. We're up here at the shop this morning. It's chilly. It's chilly and it's rainy, but we got to usually have a real good signal up here. And I like coming up here when I can. You'll see in the background some of the things we're working on. There's the 55. We working on the doors. Hey, Jamie. I hope everything's going good. Are you in Florida or are you back up north? I hope you're in Florida where it's warmer, because it's definitely chilly up here right now. It's 30, I think 37 degrees a while ago when I checked, and it's raining. You may hear the rain on the roof, on the metal roof here. Pensacola. Well, that's good. That's good. That's about your second home nowadays, isn't it? You've been working down Pensacola a good bit. But yeah, I don't know if everybody's had a chance to check out this chat. Hey, James, how are you? This Chatgpt. It's interesting. It's interesting and it's dangerous. I think it's something that we're going to have to worry about in the future. Raining in Pensacola too. Okay, good. Well, I guess good. um, we've had a lot of rain. This has been a wet winter here in North Carolina. Thank goodness it hadn't been a cold winter, because if we'd had this in snow, it'd been terrible. It would have been a terrible amount, a large amount of snow, had we had this much snow. But yeah, I don't know if everybody's had a chance to see that Chatgpt. Good morning, Jerome. How are you? From Pooler. I know where Pooler, Georgia is at. Right there at Savannah. Yeah, Pooler was where one of our terminals was with FedEx. I think they're building a new one right there in Pooler. But I don't know if everybody's had a chance to check out this Chatgpt, a GPT, Chatgpt. That's that new AI program that everybody's raving about, and it's something. It is something. Everybody ought to check it out, because you may not think much about it now, but it's going to be the new Google of the future, I'm afraid, and not in a good way. Because I went on it and I started asking it different things, and it's got a left-leaning bias. I mean, you can ask it things about Donald Trump, and it kind of disparages Donald Trump. Then you ask something about Barack Obama, and it's all sweet and nice about Barack Obama. So you can see immediately that it's got a left-leaning type pre-program. And then you can ask it something about climate change, and it gives a generic thing, and it wants to say that anybody that doesn't believe, like with the climate accord and everything, and the Paris Accord, that you're sort of a denier, when there's plenty of scientists and climatologists that are out there that don't believe all the scare that they're trying to put out, that all the green people are trying to shove down our throats, or trying to do. But you can see that bias on that. And the problem is that program is real powerful. I mean, you can actually, you can tell it to program a machine language program on a computer. I actually asked it to do a small program yesterday, and it put out the code. It's something. Hey, Aaron, how are you? Yeah. And, we've got to be careful with things like that, because, if you think back 10 or 15 years, how far Google has gone and how far Facebook has gone, how far these entities have influenced the mindset of the American public, and actually influenced elections. And we're going to have something like this that is also going to do that. Hey, Fleet Tech, how are you this morning? So I really think that we need to be very cautious of these kind of programs, and really they should probably legislate some restrictions on some of these programs, because this one can actually do things. Not only can it give you information, it can actually do things. In other words, you can tell it to do a rap song, and it'll do a rap song for you. Write out a rap song. You can tell it to do a rap song that Kanye West may do about a certain subject, and it'll do it, and it's crazy. Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about AI. It's going to be dangerous, but everybody ought to try it out. That GP, I keep messing it up here. Chat GPT, that's what it's called, and it is very, it's scary dangerous to me, and it's going to only get bigger and better, because Microsoft has done like I think $100 billion investment on this, a huge investment. And it started out to be a nonprofit. Elon Musk and another guy actually started it. Elon has sort of dropped out of it in the past few years, but go back and check the history of this, and now it's going to be taken over by some of these big corporations like Microsoft, and they're going to use the technology, and they're going to use this technology to turn it around to profit them and to get their political viewpoints across. That's what's scary to me, and it's already written with a left-leaning bias. I mean, you can go ask it, what is a woman? And then it's not going to say a woman is got XX chromosomes, blah, blah, blah. It goes on that is part of it, but then it goes on to this, so many politically correct things that you hear some of these people say about a woman now, that a woman may or may not be able to give birth, and she may or may not have a uterus, and just all kind of different crazy things like that. Exactly how the left wants us to think in the future. And this program does that. And, once we get to relying more and more on these artificial intelligence program, I really think that they're going to be dangerous. And I really think that the government needs to step in and sort of legislate these things and make sure that they don't have a left or right leaning bias, because if they get in there and have too much of a left leaning bias, I mean, they can automatically sway how people think and about a subject, and really change the dynamics of a lot of things. Oh yeah, Toolcat's back here in the shop, Joey. Do I panic? Well, we're always doing different things in the shop. Yeah, the Toolcat, we've been working on it. I've put new headlights on it, as you can see. Well, I don't know if you can see them or not. And then we're putting new LED lights on the top, just modifying it to kind of bring it up to date, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's an app. It's what it is, Aaron. In other words, you can go on and go to go to Google and type in chat GPT. Chat, just like the word chat. It's all one word though. Chat GPT. And yeah, I got me a new flail mower there. Joey. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, we're using that. This toolcat has a high flow and everything, so it can really work that really good. Well, yeah, I mean the ESG problem is part of what we're getting into now. I mean, the government is going to try to control too much, uh, and the government and I'm not speaking the United States government. I'm scared of what the world. They're going on to these world conferences and everything, and aligning ourselves with all these other countries. Uh, what was the conference that was I just had it this last week? I can't remember. Where all the leaders of the world, yeah, it's all the multinational governments and companies and all these big leaders, these big millionaires and multimillionaires. Yeah, they all flew over to where Austria, I believe. We had to ask. Uh, I believe it was Austria, and they flew over there and had their big meeting, and they talked about climate change and how we have to change everything like that. And then they all flew in on private jets, which the carbon footprint of that was probably 100 times more than, well, if they had 102 private jets there, if they could have flown in commercially, they probably would have saved you know thousands and thousands of uh, carbon issues right there. But you know they don't want to do that. They want to still they want to tell us what to do. They don't want to do it themselves. They want to tell you that you need to do it, not them. And that's the hypocrisy of all this. Yeah, and that's what they want to do. And that's why I say we've got to be careful with some of these things coming down the pipeline. And this chat GPT, remember that, guys. I mean, this is going to be something that you're going to be scared of one day. I mean, I'm already a little bit fearful of this, of how this can go, because you can go in there and type it and have it ask questions, and it will give you answers, and it is very, very knowledgeable. And but it's pre-programmed, and then it uses their all the knowledge that's been fed to it. And the problem is, like I said, some of this pre-programming is done by people with a left-leaning bias, and you can see it by the way some of the answers come out. Now, the program itself doesn't says it's not left-leaning, but that's crazy. Well, it is an artificial intelligence, and you have to Google it. Google it, Chat GPT, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's you go on the program. I mean, it's powerful and it's dangerous, in my opinion, because it's going to be left. It's open to everybody to get the knowledge. I mean, you can actually have it to write a program in Python or C++ or some of these other things. You can actually make it have it to write you a program that works, because it is pre-programmed with computer language to write another part of computer language. In other words, it can build something itself within its own structure, which if it uses your input and then uh, uses its knowledge, then it could be a very powerful thing in the wrong hands. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it is something. In other words, when it says chat, I don't know how you actually just type this in. This is not a chat program. Don't let me misinterpret or confuse you. It's not a chat program where there's 10 people on there with you. It's you and the computer. It's what you're doing. You're chatting with the artificial intelligence. So you're not out there talking with 20 people about something. What you're doing on this, and I guess that's the reason it's a little bit confusing. That it sounds like it's a chat program where we get on and we chat about a lot of features. It's not that. It's an artificial intelligence program that you type information into, and it will spout out. It's sort of it's like Google on steroids in some respects. I mean, Google is just mainly an advertisement type situation now, whereas you type in something, it'll send you to a website or something like that. This will actually give you a response that has been programmed, whereas this will do something. I mean, I asked it last night to write a poem about Donald Trump as if it was written by Shakespeare. And you ought to have. I wish I had it back up, but it was something. And even in that poem, though, I could tell it's biased because the way it disparaged Trump, because Trump does not come off in its history as a good president. And but like I said, you can do the same thing about Barack Obama, and it sort of glorifies him. So that in itself will show you the bias of what this program is about. And so I really think people need to look at this, and if you haven't looked at it, by all means check it out, and go on Google it, go to YouTube. You'll see some things on YouTube about it. But it's a new thing. It just came out in November. Now its data is only good through September of 2021. Is what it says was programmed in. They stopped it off at that. So you can't ask it about a current event. In other words, you can't ask it about a ball game that happened last night, or you can't. But you can ask it about historical things. You can ask it about engineering type things. Just a lot of different. I mean, it's smart as far as engineering goes. As far as I mean, you could ask it about electrical wiring, or you could ask it about how to build a bridge, and all kind of different things. It's very smart engineering wise, but it's got some social things that kind of are crazy. Well, I mean, you type that in. I mean, it's gonna be. Remember this, guys. I mean, I know Google and YouTube and everything is great, but I mean, you go on YouTube and type in about this though, and it'll explain better than what I'm explaining right now. But Chat GPT is the program, and remember that because it is going to be something. It's going to take over a lot of stuff. No, AI has been around a long time. Yeah, but I'm just saying this one is easier for the common man to take advantage of. And the problem is, I'm afraid it's going to take off like Google did. I mean, you think back about how small Google was 15 years ago, 15, 16, 17 years ago, and then how big it is now and how dominating it is now. A program like this is going to do the same thing. I'm afraid it's going to take off like Google did and just take over. Right now, it's too small because, I mean, I've got the other computer up here now, and I'm going on it, and actually their servers are down because they're getting hit so many times right now that their servers can't keep up with it because of all the people trying to get on Chat GPT. Let me refresh it and see if it's okay. Yeah, it's up now, and evidently, okay, it's right now something I asked earlier right now, but it's real dangerous. It's you downloaded it, Aaron? Okay, yeah, you have to download. You have to sign on to it, and then you can start asking it questions. I mean, if it's used in the right way, it can be a great thing. But I just went on the fringe areas of it that I was worried about, and sure enough, it's dangerous. And I worry about things like that. I mean, I know I may sound crazy trying to put up the alarm about it right now, but it's something that can really be dangerous if taken the wrong way and put in the wrong hands. And if it's not, uh, it needs to be curbed in some way. I mean, I can see this right out of the box. It doesn't need to be political or in political nature, and it's got some political bias already. No, it's not a virus. It's nothing that's going to be a virus or anything, James. It's nothing like that. I mean, it's just a file. I mean, you can put it on your browser and everything. It's no different than Google. It's not something. The servers are not on your computer. You're just connecting to just like Google. I mean, you're not afraid of Google. You're not afraid of YouTube. It's no different than that. What I'm saying is how it's pre-programmed or how the programmers are using it right now. I think are some things could be nefarious. I mean, it could be used in the wrong way. It's what I'm scared of. Well, Elon helped start it. Elon actually helped start that. I don't know what his input is on it now. I mean, he actually helped start, and Elon has some. He even talks about it too. And I've seen some podcasts that he's on, and he tweeted about it too. It can be it's getting to be a little dangerous, and we got to be careful with it. It's sort of like Pandora's box. I mean, you open up Pandora's box, and then everything comes out of it that you don't want. Well, and that's right. That's what I'm scared of it too, is the young and the impressionable minds. And if you got it biased one way or the other, that's how they're going to tend to think in the future. And right now, we've got too many socialist, uh, left-leaning people that are in control of too many things, and we've got to rein that in so we don't have one ideology that's dominating anything. And if you got one ideology that's dominating, whether it's right or left, it's not a good thing. We need to be centralized, whereas you know we can have conversation on both sides. And right now, too many things are being squelched. If you're a conservative, your ideas are being squelched out in the mainstream right now, and the left is just dominating the news media. And this is just one other factor that I'm scared of that could be dominated by the left if we let it happen. I'm trying to catch up on my reading there. But I hope everybody is having a good Sunday. I don't want to be I don't want to be an alarmist too much, uh, but it is something I think that everybody needs to check out because it will be the Google. Give it just a few years, and it will be like Google. Uh, when you want to find information, you'll go to that. You'll ask it a question, and that sort of thing. And that's what scares me is the fact that how powerful that this program could be in just a short time. And we need to rein it in. We need to before it gets too large. I mean, just think about it. What if we could have put some provisions in Google uh, several years ago that would not let it be politicized? I mean, think about it. All the Google people now, 98% of Google, their money they give to Democrats. Well, that's not right. That shows you right there that organization is left leaning to the nth degree, and it needs to be. Uh, even footing and everything on some of this stuff. But when you let them do evil like that, and that was one of the things that used to be the slogan of Google when it first started, is "Do no evil," and they've let themselves do that. They let themselves get into being an evil organization, in my opinion, and too dominating. I mean, you you go on Google, and Google suggested links are going to be at the top. I mean, it's not going to be ranked. Uh, Everything below it is ranked, but the first two or three uh, rankings on a Google site, if you ask it about any kind of thing, or pre programmed things from Google, they want you to go to that particular site. That's an advertised site. And whether it's the best or the most legit, it doesn't matter because Google is ranking them in that way. And Google skews things to their advantage. And they have got the advertising dollars and they're making the big bucks nowadays. That's when people want to get stuff, that's what they do. I'm going to take a drink here. It's getting a little choked up. Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going to have to legislate. I really think the government is going to have to legislate AI because we're worried about TikTok and we're worried about all these other entities that are creeping into the mainstream, and this AI is going to be the next big one, like TikTok. And I'm afraid it may be misused. So, I mean, check it out, download it, check it out. Don't just take my word for it. Check it out yourself, and then you can ask it questions. And like I said, you can ask it to write a computer code, and it will actually write. I mean, I asked it yesterday to write a computer code. I forgot exactly what I asked it to do, but it wrote out a long code for me in Python, which is a people that know coding know that that's a computer code, and it wrote that out. So I mean, it can be used for good. In other words, like I could ask it to write a program for my uh, plasma cutter over here, and it could actually write a program that we could use the G code on that. So that in itself is good for me. I mean, I like stuff like that. I mean, I've got that, and I also have some printer. Uh, Gosh, I'm trying to think of the little printer. Anyway, we can print the plastics and everything. Um, I got that for my son and grandson a couple of years ago, and they use that. And then plus anything that we've got within the shop and that's computerized nowadays, if we can write programs for it internally without having to go to a major company to get something written, I mean that's a big plus for me. So I can see the advantages of stuff like that. It's just some of the other things. I mean, it's sort of out there in the wild, wild west right now, and we're going to have to say, let's not break laws by doing this or doing that, and that's what scares me about this program. But we'll see. Well, what else is going on, guys? I didn't mean to harp on for 30 minutes on this AI thing, but it just caught my attention big time over the weekend. And I really thought it needed to be addressed. And that's the reason that I was talking about it, because um, I think we all need to look at things like that, whether you know about it or not. And like I say, some of this stuff will creep up on you before you know what it is. And then the next thing you know, it's sort of taken over. And that's what I'm afraid that this is going to do. Yeah, I mean, we got to watch these things. They're coming faster and quicker. I mean, I didn't pay attention to TikTok much until it got into the mainstream, and my grandson and my son and daughter-in-law, all of them were watching TikTok. and I would see a few of them on Facebook and a few things like that. And then when you get to reading about it, and that you know that program came from communist China, and communist China won't let TikTok over there be used the same way it is in the U.S. because they're controlling it, so the kids don't see any of this nonsense that our people are doing, and our it's crazy. But what do you do on that? I mean, all you can do is be cautious about things like that, and make yourself aware of what's going on. And I mean, we've got so many powerful programs. I mean, even YouTube that we're on right now is very powerful. I mean, here I am, just a common guy in North Carolina, a little small town of Cherryville, and I'm able to talk to everybody in the entire world right now. I mean, we talk to guys from Austria, we talk to guys from Australia, Italy, Canada, all at one time, and able to come in here and have a conversation and chat with us. And that to me in itself is amazing. And that to me is something that, you know, we got to be thankful for it in some ways, that we're able to get that information out. But we also have to be diligent. We have to fight for our rights to control these things, so we don't have a one-side narrative that's being told across the United States or the world. And we've got to keep it even. I mean, I don't mind the left saying what they want to say, but I don't want the left to try to control what the right's trying to say, or vice versa. I think we got to have a democracy with the internet and everything that's coming down the pipeline. And if we don't have a democracy out there on the internet, we're going to be in bad shape. Well, nobody's talking now. Have I been talking too much, guys? Go ahead and chat some. You have to excuse me. I'm talking so much, I'm getting a little bit choked up. Yeah, James. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to. I hope that I'm conveying my strong feelings about this, or maybe too strong. I don't know. Hey, Zach, how are you? Yeah, let's see, we were talking about Australia, and there's Zach. Or is it Australia or New Zealand? I can't remember. I noticed that the Prime Minister of New Zealand has stepped down. Yeah, ESG is definitely something. That they're going to try to govern how much control your spending and your borrowing power by your credit score and your social score. I mean, if they don't like what you're doing socially, they can restrict how much money you can borrow, which is terrible. Well, and they need to. Uh, we don't need to have banks and all these big powerful entities saying, well, we don't like your politics, so we're not going to let you borrow any money. We're not going to let you buy this house, or we're not going to let you start this business because we really don't like your politics. And that in itself is so wrong, so wrong. Yeah, and freeze your bank accounts. Say, yeah, we're not going to let you have your money. You got $100,000 in there. We're just going to keep it because we don't like your policies. We don't like what you're thinking. I mean, so much of that is bizarre, and how we're even getting to that point in our life is pathetic. And this is why that I'm cautionary about what I'm saying about this AI, because it's very similar. I mean, we're having a tendency to let people control us in a manner that they have no right to control us. Yeah, well, thank you, Aaron. Go on that program and you'll understand what I'm talking about, because I think everybody ought to get it and download it and try it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, it's got some great things. Don't get me wrong. It has a lot of things that are good. I mean, like I said, if I want to program something for my plasma cutter, I can get it to program something which actually we have done, but it takes a lot of time. And it does, it can spit it out in just seconds. And it's a way of doing some things that are very positive, but it also has a tendency, or let's say, if it's used in the wrong manner, it has a way of, of skewing things the wrong way. And as long as it's not programmed in a biased manner, it can be, and as long as it has some oversight, I guess you might say. I mean, a program that powerful needs to have an oversight and not let it be pre-programmed, and have the algorithms. I mean, and that's part of it. It's got they can change the algorithm, and that's what they do with Google and Facebook and all the rest of them, to lean the way they want to. And that's what they've done already on this program. And it's very obvious when you go in there and ask it certain questions. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think all of us need to be aware of early on, because we can let some of this take over like TikTok did before you know it. And then it's too late. It's sort of like when you let the horse out of the barn, it's kind of hard to get him back in. And that's what we've done a little bit with some of this. And this particular program, I think, can still be reined back in. I think it still can be controlled in a certain manner if it has some legislation. And we ought to get our legislators behind this immediately, because I'm afraid that if we don't get it legislated so as it has some controls in it, that it can run rampant and do some very nefarious things. And that's what I'm scared of. I'm afraid that it can do some things that we don't want it to do, and influence. I don't want it to influence uh, the young people into believing one ideology over the other. I mean, we're still going to fractionalize and go right or left or even centrist in some manner, but I don't want it to go all one way. And that's what I'm afraid of when you've got something like this. And when you have people that, people now, when they type in something, they want some information, they go to Google or whatever, or they get Wikipedia or some of these other things, and they think that's 100% of the knowledge. And then you won't get the dissenting views of different opinions about things. I mean, that's like you type in something about on this program about climate, uh, about global warming. Well, it will tell you right away that global warming is already basically, oh yeah, it's already, most of the scientists already believe this, and if you don't believe it, you're a denier, and that's not so. There's plenty of climatologists and scientists that don't go along with the Al Gore type situation about the climate. I mean, Al Gore's been preaching it now for 18 years about the climate change and how the ice caps are melting away. And as far as his predictions were years ago, we already, the Statue of Liberty, the water ought to be up to its neck by now. And that's not so. And, you know, you can go on there and find out that climate, that the temperature in the world has only risen like 2 or 3 degrees in 100 years. 100 years. And that you got to take into consideration. They keep saying it's all because of fossil fuel. Well, it's not all because fossil fuel. Look what we've done across the world. Look how many roads we've paved. Look how many uh, trees we've cut down. Look at how we've destroyed things like that. Not along, I mean, along with fossil fuels and everything, but fossil fuels that are not the and coal and everything else are not 100% the reason that any kind of temperature is changing. And on top of that, we're only talking 1 or 2 degrees. We're not talking 20 degrees. We're not, there's more people that die of cold than they die of heat. Oh yeah, yeah. Al Gore, yeah, he's a smart guy. He thought he invented the internet. Yeah, he didn't even come close. But yeah, he was a laughing stock with the computer nerds way back when he said he did that. I mean, he's an idiot. He's a rich idiot. I mean, he's gotten rich off of he sold his he started a program, a left leaning TV program called Current TV, and it was flopping. But the fact that he had it on the cable networks and all he got all of his buddies to let him on all these cable channels. He was able to turn around and sell that to Al Jazeera, which is here's the ironic thing, is run by Saudi Arabia, which is the big oil producer. So he sold that for $500 million to Al Jazeera. So yeah, he's a hypocrite to beat the band. You want to knock down global warming and talk about the coal miners and the fossil fuels and everything else. So who do you sell to? You sell to one of the leading fossil fuel producers in the world. So that's Al Gore. It's all about the money for Mr. Gore. He will gore you out. That's what he will do. He flies private planes. He flies private jets everywhere. He has one of the most expensive power bills in Tennessee. If he still has that Tennessee home, and he also has a home on the beach in California. So he's like Barack. Barack's got one at at Martha's Vineyard, and Al Gore's got one on the West Coast. Both of them on the beach, but they're really going to preach to you that the global warming's coming and all this is going to be underwater. But what do? They stick their houses right out at the edge of the ocean and buy huge mansions on the edge of the ocean. So they're worried about it for sure. And the other thing is, if on the global warming thing, if if it were 100% the truth, do you think all these insurance companies and banks would loan money to people to build a house right on the edge of the ocean? I mean, why would they want to take that investment and risk it if they know that it's going to be destroyed? Now we are putting people in harm's way. No, I grant you 100%. There are people every single day that are pushing the limit and putting themselves in harm's way and seeing how far they can push that envelope to put a house out on the edge. Uh, and then when it gets destroyed, they go, "Oh my gosh, global warming destroyed my house." No, you're the idiot that built it on the edge. And that's why, I mean, if you build something on the edge of a cliff and it falls off the cliff, don't blame me. Don't blame the wind. Don't blame something. Blame yourself for being an idiot for putting it in harm's way. But that's the world. That's the way the world works. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember. Yeah. I think if you were able to dig deep, you would find that Al Gore's dad probably had something with the demise of Buford Pusser. I don't know. I can't say. I mean, that's a strange thing within itself, James. I mean, being here from North Carolina, uh, I know and I've heard tales over the years about Buford Pusser. Uh, I've got a lot of friends live up in the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina, and that in itself is strange. Oh, you used to be a rum runner. Yeah. Well, uh, you know, a lot of these good old NASCAR boys were uh, bootleggers. I mean, Junior Johnson was one of the biggest. I mean, he actually, he's one of the few that actually served time because of, uh, getting involved with bootlegging back in the 50s and 60s. And he kind of took the rap for his dad and served prison time. So his dad didn't have to go to prison and, that sort of stuff. Then he got pardoned by President Reagan, and that's a good thing. Because Junior Johnson's a good guy. He was. I mean, he passed away a couple years ago. Well, we all are young and dumb at one time or another, James. I mean, we've all done things that were probably way more stupid than we want to admit. I mean, I have too. I mean, I've got things when you're 17, 18, 19, 20, early 20s or whatever, your brain's not fully developed uh, to have the right and wrong in so many ways. So it's something. But the world is strange out there. Oh, I know. Yeah, the Gores have been uh, the how do you say it? Sort of like Tammany Hall back there in the 80s and I mean the 1800s and everything. Uh, the Gores were the uh, sort of like the dailies were in Chicago and that sort of stuff. Yeah, they ran the political machine. I guess that's the best way to say it. They were the political machine in Tennessee for a long time. I mean, Al Gore Senior and then Al Gore Junior. I mean, if that had another one to come along, Al Gore the third or whatever probably would have been right up there too. But uh, they probably made all their kids rich and they don't need to be in politics now. Hey, Scott. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have made these crazy mistakes at Vegas and and like I say, get drunk at night and they're all in love and they might have married what they thought was a 10 and ended up being a 2 when they woke up. So yeah, that can happen real easy too. It doesn't take an AI program to tell us how dumb we are on that. That's for sure. But it is what it is. We're in a crazy world out there now, guys, and uh, it's scary to see what is coming down the pipeline. And I really think that we ought to be knowledgeable and work on getting some of these things legislated and getting some good conservative viewpoints and both sides put into some of these things, some provisions made that are wise enough to say, we don't mind this AI program being out in the wild, but we got to rein it in and say, but it can't do this and it can't do that. And that's what scares me about a program like an AI program I mean, it's basically running wild out in on the internet right now. I mean, and it's so popular that the servers go down quite often too. I mean, you'll see it clog up and it says that check back with them later. Well, and that's true too. We all need to quit buying stupid things. I mean, of course, you look around me, I'm buying crazy things. I guess I stay involved locally here with some of the things that I like. I mean, I'm working on my 55 back over here, and then I've got a tool cat right here that I'm working with and uh, modifying it and getting it in good shape. It's a handy machine, but the world is changing so rapidly that we've got to watch everything that's going down the pipeline. because if we don't, we're going to let things get out of control and we won't be able to rein it back in. How about it, happiest guy? Yeah, we're doing fine. But we need to make sure that new things coming down the pipeline, and new things technology is going to change so much in the near future. I mean, you're going to see things like Google and Facebook maybe fade away, or their importance fade away. I mean, Facebook has already lost a tremendous amount of subscribers. I mean, they're trying to get into this metaverse and do some crazy things that Zuckerberg's thinking things are go, but and we'll have to watch that too. I mean, he's a little bit going on to the AI thing too, but he's going in a strange way, and he's throwing billions of dollars into it, and I don't know if he's going to succeed or not. I mean, he's almost bankrupting the company, taking it off in a manner that's not good. But I mean, I love technology. Don't get me wrong, but technology also scares me when it's put in the wrong hands and is going down the path that it shouldn't go. So that's where I'm getting at on this. 6 deer in the freezer, man, that's fantastic. Come on down my way. I got plenty of deer out in my backyard. Oh, Ray Blanton, yeah. Yeah, he was a strange fella too. But yeah, some of the old politicians from Tennessee, uh, let's say they were on the uppity up, you might say. That they played it their way. Yeah, but the like I said, if we can control some of this new technology and not let it get out of hand, I think we'll be okay. But like I said, what scares me the most is it's sort of the Pandora box theory. You just don't want to let it get out of the box before we can put the controls on it to keep it from going wild and crazy. And that's what I'm scared of with some of this new program. Okay, James, I'll check out that link. But we as a society have got to really rein in some of this that's coming down the pipeline, because if we don't, trust me, in the real near future, we're going to let things get out of hand. And it scares me for the next generations, for what my son and my daughter and my grandson are going to, what's going to happen to them. And I try to convey my thoughts and my a way I think things are going to be. And like I said, it's really scary. It's really scary how much technology, but let's say it's technology that is skewed one way or the other, and that's the problem. The program itself is not a bad thing. It's the fact when you get in there and you skew it right or left, and don't let it have an unbiased opinion. When you start putting political views into a program, I don't think it's good at all. So y'all check it out. See if I'm right or wrong. See what y'all think about it. Go on YouTube, and there's several other people that have talked about it. Talked about how they can make money with this, and they're right. There's going to be a lot of people make a lot of money off this Chat GBT. Is it GPT? that last bit of initials I keep. Let me get my program. Chat GPT. I keep on to add another initial in there. Chat GPT. Check it out, guys. I mean, because it is something else, and it's dangerous, it's biased, and it's something that we need to look at in a different vein than some people will look at it and all giddy. Oh wow, look at this great program, but they haven't got into the dark side of what it can be, and the dark side of what it can be is what scares me. And when you let something control or develop something so quickly and so influential, it can be very scary. And that's what I think that uh, chat GPT is doing right now. I mean, it is scary, but you know, that's about it. Well, we will be in a minority if we don't control these things, Jamie, and that's what I'm getting at. I mean, people that are conservative and or that have a conservative viewpoint, they're getting left behind out there. They're getting, we went through a period where we let these politicians and these actors and everybody else, they want to ridicule us because we have a conservative viewpoint, because you believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of justice, because you believe in, the rights of a human being to live in a mother's womb. Uh, you know, things like that. I mean, common sense things that 50 years ago you wouldn't have even question. But now you have all these different left wing people. And that's like, like I said, go on this program and type in what is a woman. Just type that in, and it will give you the most left leaning ideology that you've ever heard. And so, I mean, that's simple things like that. And when you can see that it has a skewed view immediately, you go, uh-oh, what's happening here? This program is telling me that a woman is not a woman or a man is not a man. It actually does more against a woman. And it tells you that we need to have feelings for these trans people and these gay people. We need, and like I've told some other people, I don't care what trans people and gay people do. I don't care one thing about it. But don't push your ideology on me. Sort of like this hockey player that they they've ostracized now. So many of the left media have ostracized him because he didn't want to wear a gay pride jersey because of his religion. He's Russian Orthodox, and he because he was raised right, or I say conservative, and in a right manner, he and because he didn't want to, bow down to their likes and dislikes, he's been ostracized in the NHL. I mean, why in the heck is the NHL even bringing anything out about gay pride or LGBTQ plus MOUSE? It's crazy. I mean, I don't care about that one bit. I mean, if the gay people want to marry other gay people, fine. You go marry all the gay people you want. You can do all the gay things you want to do. Just don't make me think that that's normal or try to push it down as normal. Don't make don't push your ideology of anything like it. I mean, I have gay friends. I have people that I know that are gay. That's fine. You do what you want to do. You sleep with who you want to sleep with. I do not care. But don't tell me that I have to watch you do anything, or I have to uh, go along with what you want to do. I don't have to say, yay, that's the greatest thing ever. You know, no, I don't. I don't think it's great. But that's your opinion, and I have my opinion. Let us all have our opinion. Yep, that's me. I'm a grumpy old man, and that's what I identify. I identify as grumpy and old and boomer. So that's my pronouns. I'm an old boomer and very proud of it. I'm very proud to be an old boomer. I've been online and I'd have people go, "Yeah, okay, boomer." I go, "You better believe it. I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer and proud of it." We came up in a great generation. I love the fact that that's my generation, and I don't deny being a boomer. Never will, and I never have I been ashamed of it. Yep. Yep, I identify as a grouch and grumpy old man, a boomer, all that. That's my identity. So I don't have to have a he, him, she, we, they, that, whatever. You know, these people say, "Oh, my pronouns are this." Well, that's crap. My adjective would be. I'll tell them what my adjective is. My adjective is I'm a grumpy old man. Yep. Yeah, I identify as a a 70-year-old man that's set in his ways, that's grumpy, that's proud to be an American and proud to be with the conservative viewpoints and proud that I'm not going to be told what to do anymore. I'm not a guy that can be canceled. I mean, I might be canceled off of a program or something, but my life is not going to be canceled. Is You're not going to do anything to me to disrupt my life because I don't have to depend on anybody at this point. So I'm very happy to be in my lifestyle uh, to be able to control my life for the rest of my life. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Well, guys, I have about talked my voice out, and I hope that it's been interesting. I hope y'all found it interesting. I just had to rant and rave about this uh, AI program, and hopefully go check it out yourself, see what I've talked about, and maybe we'll have a good opinion about it. Maybe next week you'll be more informed about it. And I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna call it quits. Get back to work on some equipment and enjoy myself. Oh, I know it. And everybody needs to educate themselves on that too, like James said, because that's another scary thing that's coming down the pipeline. That's a ruling, that's a worldwide ruling there that's scary. Y'all have a great week too, guys. See ya.